Hey guys, okay, this video is to teach you about the cardinal numbers 1 through 9. To me, they're like people. They are energies that are here at our disposal that we can access anytime that we want to, except that there are some basic premises here that are fact, that when we're in a personal year, those energies, whether we have invited them or not, are they've moved into our house, and ultimately they are our greatest teachers. They're benevolent, they're loving, they're kind, they're present, and they have higher principles attached to them that we have the opportunity to integrate with. So first off, before I even go in this direction, I want all of you to learn what your life path number is. It's derived from your day and your month and your year of birth added together. So you run it as a long math equation, and we all get double digit numbers except for some of the new babes here in 2000. But you're going to want to add those two numbers together to get a single digit number. And even with master numbers, 11s, 22s, 33s, you want to do that as well, okay? So the life path number is this energy that you come into this world to experience, to integrate with, to be active inside of, and then ultimately to manifest in your outward life. And as you listen to what I'm going to be saying about the cardinal numbers 1 through 9, there are singular numbers that are here in our math system. When I get to your life path number, think about how it shines a light on the experiences that you have had in your life that point to this bigger picture of the higher principle that is connected to the number itself. Yeah, most of us, what we do with our life path is we live through in cycles, these longer jag cycles of the farthest left number. I don't know if the video is flipping this around. I got to stop using my hands. We start with the very beginning number that makes up our final number. And then we move to the second number. And possibly you might be moving to the third number, right? And the fourth number, ultimately to get to the manifestation of your cardinal number life path. Okay. Which is probably another video I have to upload. So anyways, before you listen to this, go figure out what your life path number is if you don't know what it is, as well as the numbers that make up that final number. Okay, so I want to share an analogy that I think is going to be helpful because I work with astrology, I work with numerology, I work with tarot. That's my full-time job. I'm a seer, I'm a psychic, I'm an intuitive, I'm a healer, I'm a teacher, and the analogy I want to use for these cardinal numbers kind of sits in the astrological house analogy as well as Tarot's Fool's Journey. And the Fool's Journey basically tells the story of a spiritual being having a human experience, and it definitely is based in reincarnation, because that is something you can believe whatever you want, but what I know for myself and for the work that I do is that we simply come back over and over again to get better at this thing called life, and how we're making our living and how we are in relationship with people, right? That's kind of it. And in numerology, there are two aspects that are at play. One aspect connected to each number is the outer manifestation of the number itself, its higher spiritual principles and laws. And what we have in life is how we're making our money, and we are in relationship with people, right? So we have our careers, we have those aspirations and goals, and then we have relationship. That's what we've got, and how we pay our bills, and how we put food on the table, and where we're living. Life is pretty simple when it comes to that. Community and job. Each number represents an aspect of that. They also represent the back end aspect, the spiritual aspect of what it takes to actually produce the outward manifestation. And the difficulty that's there is what we talk about a lot, and which is being in wrong relationship with the higher principles of these energies, and struggling to figure it out, and trying to pivot and edit in order to have success and prosperity, and living the life that we want to be living, as well as being in relationship with the people that we want to be in relationship with. Okay, so at the very beginning, there was the number one. And the one's job, the whole reason for one existing as an energy out there in the world that comes and dallies with us in our lives, is the ability to create something out of nothing, to create something that has tangible form to it. It's taking raw energy and making something out of literally nothing. But that doesn't really exist, because everything is energy. So you're taking energy around you and you're manifesting it into physical form, right? That requires inside the self-confidence to pull it off, and value of self, and the belief that you can do it. And so the manifestation of the one, of creating something something out of nothing, requires that you are confident in self. It's singular. It's all about self. Singular expression. Selfish is not a negative word. It's not a bad word, guys. Right. It can be a bad word, but in this, or a negative word, or a word that is flipped upside down, in the emancipated version of how I am explaining these numbers, it is self-confidence, self-value, the ability to be able to do this, even if other people around you don't understand. Because this is your creation. This is what you want. This is what you want to produce. Okay, one. We move to the two. The two is about talking to people, cooperation, and finding those diplomatic skills, and the ability to converse, the ability to negotiate, and finding the balance between your one that you just came out of and moving it into the two, which is now interplaying with community. Usually it's a small number. It's 1-to-1 or 1 to a couple. And how are you doing with that? This is where we learned. We learned how to create something out of nothing. And once we figured that out, we're ready to go into the two. And the two is about all the things. with misunderstandings or two different points of view, which also, if you think about this for a second, whoever you're negotiating with, you're cooperating with, they too have had the one experience. And they've created something out of nothing. And they're in relationship with you. And their point of view and their creation matters just as much as yours does, right? So you find a way to broker. You find a way to negotiate. And you also find balance. You both need balance for there to be a working relationship with one another, as well as a continued working relationship with your creation. Balance, balance, balance. I will be talking about the challenges. You know, if you want to know what the challenges are for the emancipation process of these numbers, just go into the to don't list in your pins, and you will see, based on your number combination, what the challenge of each number is that you really don't want to drop into, because it just causes problems. You know, we have these teachers in our house, and these wise elders, they are here to help us get better at being a spiritual being who's having a human experience and working very hard at building a life that they want to live, and relationships that are healthy and thriving and growing and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, you finish the 2 and you move into the 3, and the 3 is really a delightful, playful, joyful energy that is around expression, talking. There's lots of different forms of talking. These are our artists, and they're our creatives. And so it is using the different mediums of music or sound forms or speaking or the arts in order to express this deep, incredible sensitivity of the joy of having a human experience, the joy of life. And it's off the charts, intuitive, psychic, sensitive, alive and vibrant, and there's just this playful joyfulness to the 3 that is remarkable to be around. The need to bring that out is literally a demand from the universe that happen. Okay, so we have the 3 energy that oftentimes is connected to the 1, creation, taking something out of nothing, or making something out of nothing, and the relationship, you know, dance that you've had with a couple of key people, and then experiencing this explosion of opportunity and expansion, which is connected to, oh honey, that's not all, there's so much more. And it's so, you know, in its perfect form, it is inspiringly delightful. There is, you know, I've been around people who are 3 life paths, and when they're expressing that inspirational Pied Piper energy, it is intoxicating and inspiring. All right, so we move into the 4. Now the 4 is about a stability point. It's like building a house. You can't start with the 2nd floor on a house, right? You have to start with the foundation. What has to go into those foundational pieces? Well, you need to make sure that everything is set up for water and electricity and drainage and whatever that house needs to make sure that stability is well thought out, to the point that when you start to build on top of it, it's going to keep that, it's going to keep the second, third, fourth floor right there in good place, and it's not going to topple over, right? That requires that you think. And so the aspect of the 4 energy of stability requires systems. And what is the structure? And what's the order of everything? And that's fantastic too, because it's a brilliant, intelligent number that can figure out how to put the engine of the jumbo jet plane together. So 4 is incredibly important. You wouldn't have the experience of the 4 without the 3, 2, 1, right? All right, next we go to the 5. The 5 energy is connected to freedom. The outward, boots on the ground freedom to go and do anything that you want. It is a number that's definitely connected to manifesting, just as the 1 and the 3 is. Really, the 1's like supercharged manifesting. But you can't have freedom without the 4, right? You need that 4 stability point. You've got to have the system in order, in place, functioning healthfully, so that you can move about in the world. That looks like what? That looks like that there's enough money for you to do this, that you have a stable and secure job for you to do this, that your relationships are actually in a supportive place and you've nurtured them in your 2 year, right? And partially your 3 year, not so much in your 4 year, because that's not about that. And you are able to move about and take advantage of these incredible opportunities that are a part of the 5 frequency, but it requires discipline. Discipline is a huge part of freedom, period. And so how's your relationship with discipline? Just like how's your relationship with structures and orders and systems in the 4? We move to the 6. Wow, we're getting to the, we're tipping over to the other side, getting to the omega of the cardinal numbers, which is 9. 6 is the number of the visionary. This energy is gorgeous. It has the capability of seeing something fully out there, done, and flowing marvelously. 6 knows what the potential of anything can be. Okay, so what's backing that? What's backing that is acceptance. Acceptance of what? That there is no such thing as perfection. That there is stunning beauty and potential and possibility and imperfection. The right relationship with the 6 visionary energy is that. So while you can see, here's our teacher here, while the teacher says, yes, can you see a perfect utopian society, right? Can you see it? Because there it is, it's right there. Or a perfect business with the exact right people who are doing the exact right things in the business. Right relationship with imperfection, because life is far from perfect and people are far from perfect. So the 6 energy holds the visionary perspective while at the same time, and knows it's working towards that, while at the same time there is acceptance of this truth that I just spoke of. Now we move into the 7 frequency, and the 7 frequency is basically, all intents and purposes, you've got a mystic that has moved into your house. And that mystic is here to teach us about the bridge between the material world and the spiritual world, however you see spirituality. And that what you do here directly impacts so much else out there that has nothing to do with this thing called this world. Big concept, right? Mystic energy is a challenge to work with, because there is a higher spiritual law of ultimate absolute trust in the information that is being given to you, that you are receiving and that you're interacting with, and to let this activate your heart and then share that wisdom out with others. Mystics are our teachers. So is the 9. They are the ones that have something new to bring to the table that is supportive, loving, inclusive, expansive, aha, lots of those things that bring us as a collective body together in harmony with one another, in acceptance and love and appreciation, all that kind of good stuff. All right. So the 7 is preparing for the 8. And the reason why this is so important is that the 8, when it shows up, this is about abundance. This is about monetary abundance, assets, stuff, things, abundance initially out there in the world. All right. And then recognition by default goes along with that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, though, the spiritual law of garnering abundance that probably goes all the way back to your 1 year, moving through the cycles all the way up to the 8, right? We have multiple of these cycles in a lifetime, depending on how long we're here and we're alive. Is how we're utilizing this incredible power to garner that abundance and to garner that recognition. And is it then going to serve the greater good? Because abundance for all is so different than abundance just for me. Recognition that is based in abundance for all is a completely different experience than abundance just for me. Okay? And I'm going to let that just sit there and leave it at that. It's one of the reasons why the 7 energy and the experience of the 7 is so important, so that when you get to the 8 energy, you are prepared for this higher spiritual truth. Okay? You're prepared for it. You're ready for it. And then when you're faced with some difficult decisions, you're going to choose the higher spiritual truth. Abundance for all. If this venture is on the backs of, other people and creating suffering points for other people, that's not the higher spiritual principle and truth of the 8 energy. So 7 helps you prepare for that, just like all the other numbers behind it do. And I got to keep going. And then you go into the 9. And the 9s is, 9 energy is the omega. If 1 is the alpha, the beginning, 9 is the end. And the end connected to humanitarianism and being the wise one. However, and it's backed by integrity. I'm a 9 life path, so that's why you saw this little pause there, because there's so much I can say about this. Backed by integrity, wisdom, humanitarianism, backed by integrity. integrity means, the higher spiritual principle of integrity is that everything you say, everything you do, how you live your life, how you think, how you feel, where your feet are going, all of that has to be in alignment with what you're saying. Oh, so many 9 life pathers are somehow wrapped up in being spiritual teachers, and I just find it like interesting that this is my job. Like, would you look at that? I've had moments like that. Anything that comes out of my mouth or anything I talk about is always going to be vetted through integrity. Am I integral in my actions? What I'm talking about, is this a living truth in my life? And if it's not, I will get spanked. And that is just the way it is with the 9 frequency. And that's the way it is, especially if it's your life path. But that is the higher principle of 9. And yes, spanking all the way down. And it's not because we're being punished, by the way, guys. It is this consequence of life itself and the karmic ties that we create based on how we're integrating with these cardinal numbers 1 through 9. How we're interplaying with them, how we're talking to them, how we're choosing to be in a relationship with these frequencies. Okay, so now I'm going to move very quickly into one last little quick part, and then I'm probably only going to talk about this for maybe a couple of minutes so you guys can understand what's going on with your pins. Whatever pin that you're in, that is an energy that you are going to be living with for 12 months. It's these energies, they move into our house as great teachers and great support systems. And the terrain that too is moving through is the global year that we're currently in. So, it's the backyard or the massive football field that you're running through. It's your marathon run for 12 months. And those frequencies actually impact the monthly energies that come into your house as well. The monthly energy is going to be the bogey and the target of that number that you are going to want to partner with, interplay with, communicate with, dialogue with. And the terrain that you're running through that's supporting this is the number of the month. So for everybody that is sitting currently, let's say I'm going to throw a number, and we're sitting in a 5 month. Okay, that's May. That energy is 5. That energy is 5. That energy is connected to freedom. And that freedom means, guess what? So many things will change. And they will change drastically. You will move. You're going to get a different job. You'll have a promotion. There are marriages and long-term relationships that call it a day. It's big changes. And those big changes require discipline, a disciplined approach to planning, making sure that you've got everything boots on the ground, ready to go. And you haven't missed a stone in, it looks like, managing your money, managing finances, creating spreadsheets, making sure that you are thinking ahead for stability points, for that catch. Anytime there's a 5, there is going to be real-time life changes, all right? So you take your PIN number, knowing that that's what you're going into in May. You take the global terrain number that we're living inside of, knowing that this is going to 8. Right now I'm making this and it's 8. This has everything to do with your career and how you're going to be living your life, and also the people you're going to be hanging out with while you're living your life. Massive, real-time, boots on the ground change across the board. So this is kind of how you interplay with these numbers. And guys, I'm going to move along now and get going on your next month's pins. I hope this helps you. I know it will. And please, please, please ask any questions that you might have or comments that you might want to share with me in the comment section of this video. And if you're enjoying my channel, hit that subscribe button, share it with other people. And I'm just really so glad that I've started this process. Much love to all of you. And I will catch you in a second in next month's pins.